Biden administration announced the new bans on investment in China meant to protect national security. CNN, President Joe Biden's administration detailed the new rules Wednesday limiting U.S. investment in advanced technology industries in China in an effort to protect national security at the moment of heightened tension with Beijing. The new rules would place restrictions on investment by U.S. private equity and venture capital firms, as well as joint ventures in Chinese artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and semiconductors. The rules will be subjected to the public comment period. Long in the work, the new restrictions are meant to prevent American knowledge and money from flowing to China and to tighten the amount of cutting edge technology available to the Chinese military. Officials announcing the staff repeatedly emphasized that their goal was to limit U.S. capital from aiding China's military, not to damage China's economy. This is a national national security action, not an economic one. We recognize the important role that cross-border investment flows play in U.S. economic vitality, and this executive order is narrowing protecting our national security interest. One official said in a call with the reporters Wednesday. China's foreign ministry on Thursday said it has lodged a stern representation with the US over the proposed investment restrictions, calling them a blatant act of the economic coercion and scientific and technological bullying, whose real purpose was to deprive China of its right to development. In a separate statement, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce spokesperson said China is seriously concerned about the development and reversed the right to take measures. The order, the spokesperson said, seriously deviates from the principles of market economy and fair competition and disrupt global supply chains. One critical purpose of the new executive order and the forthcoming regulation is about limiting China's access to the intangibles like technical know-how or relationships with experts that often accompany investment from venture capital or private equity firms, a senior official said. Ultimately, China doesn't need our money. They are net capital exporters. So the things we're trying to prevent is not money going into China overall, because they have plenty of money. The thing we they don't have is know-how. This official said. The proposed rule is designed to target technologies most critical for military advancement, one official told CNN. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen discussed the rules which aim to delay China's technological and military advancement in meetings with the Chinese counterpart in early July. Yellen also, along with the other top administration officials, have described the rules as limited in scope, intended not to damage China's economy but instead to protect American national security. We don't want the cut line to be so broad that we deny the American companies the revenue and China can get the product elsewhere, or China gets the product from other countries. So what we are trying to do is be narrowly defined and work with our allies on these checkpoint technologies. Commerce Secretary Gina Raymond said this summer at the forum. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan described the measures as tailored in April. They're not, as Beijing says, a technology blockade, he said. The rules also allowed for greater government viability. visibility into U.S. investment in China by requiring companies to report their activity. The United States and China are in the midst of a tit-for-tat export restrictions involving high-tech products, following escalating concerns in Washington about the risk posed by Beijing to its national security. Last October, the Biden administration unveiled a sweeping set of export controls that ban China's companies from buying advanced chips and chip making equipment without the license. Since then, officials have worked to finalize the new investment rules, including narrowing them to focus squarely on national security technology. Some Republicans have been harshly critical, saying the moves took too long to reenact and don't go far enough. Joe Biden's new rules are not even a half measures, said Nikki Haley, a former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador who is now running for the Republican presidential nomination. They, they will do little to stop American money flowing to China's military through its tech companies. To stop funding China's military, we have to stop all US investment in China's critical technology and the military companies. Period. China has complained bitterly about the rules, accusing the US of attempting to slow its economic growth. Chinese President Xi Jinping raised the issue of the chip restrictions in the conversation with Biden last year. Still, Biden and his team have encouraged other countries to take similar steps to de risk national security supply chains from China. The effort has gained traction in Europe. At the same time, Biden has sought to stabilize the US China relationship, including developing more robust communication mechanisms and sending top administration officials to China for talks. I have not ruled out a meeting between Biden and Xi on the sidelines of a upcoming leaders summit. When asked about potential retaliation by China, officials said the US has been direct and careful in their conversations with their counterpart and pointed to Beijing's long-standing and broad outbound investment regime. This is not about some sort of step change in our economic relations with China, but instead really just reflect the evolving nature of technology and the fact that when we are thinking about how do we appropriately control military and dual use items, we do it in a way that is comprehensive and reflects the way that those might be acquired or developed today, an official told CNN. This story has been updated with additional details. CNN's Martha Chu in Beijing contributed to this report.